Hey, hello everyone, and welcome to this video. Today, I'd like to take a bit of time and tell you about how you can improve your collaboration within your team using Terraform Cloud and the private registries, essentially. So I think this video is going to be in two parts. In this part, I'm going to show you how you can publish something in the private registry or public registry as well. Doesn't really make that much of a difference. And in the next part, I'm going to show you how we can consume that published module. So I think I'm going to start with one really great quote from the DevOps handbook that says, when you have local discoveries, you want to make that global improvements. So I think that says a lot because, in the last video, we created this Lambda function that is, there are some things that I think not everyone knows about. For instance, this, how you can prevent cold start in your Lambda function, or how many concurrent executions do you want to allow for your production Lambda function, and many more. Your blue-green deployment scenarios and everything. And let's say I've worked for my company, I've discovered this, and now there's another person that needs that is going to need the same thing, and essentially using these private registries that I'm going to show you right now, you can stop your colleagues from reinventing the wheel. So let's get into it. The video for this creating this lambda function is actually, I think I'm gonna post it in the descriptions. But again, it is pretty much it aims to solve the cold start problem using this portion. Right now that they've discovered this, I'd like to publish that to a private module registry for later consumption. And I'm going to show you how. So firstly, it's important that you create your Lambda function modular and try to kind of add variables to it. For instance, here you can see I've given the region as variable in case someone wanted to deploy something in another region, or at the runtime. I gave a variable as well, and the path to the source code as well, everything. And I try to kind of give smart, more or less, defaults to it, so that if someone didn't want to provision it, it's to essentially to remove the too much complication from the person who wants to consume it. For instance, like these concurrent executions, that's also an important one. And yeah, so it is important to have a fairly modular Terraform module, mouthful. But it's also important to have proper outputs. You need to pretty much foresee what are the possible outputs that the consumers of that module are going to consume. So this is also something that I added here. For instance, if you don't just deploy a Lambda function, you need it to put it behind an API gateway, or you want to use it and persist something to a DynamoDB or database. And for that, you need the ARN, and that's what I'm outputting here. So right now that I have all of this stuff, when I go to and I pushed it into my GitHub repository, and I can see it's like for 2 weeks ago when I created that video. I pushed it here, and it is important before I can create my private registry and publish it, I need to build a release for my application. And in GitHub is pretty much straightforward. You come here, you click on the releases, and you draft a new release and give a version and everything. And it's also important to have this format. You can also put a V before it, but it's important to have kind of this which is widely regarded as a good practice, to have this sort of version: major release, minor, and I think beta, and so on. So now I'm ready to get going and create my module, now that I have all of this stuff. And when I go to my Terraform cloud, and when I go to my registries, and when I click on modules, and let's say I'm going to say I want to publish a module, it's going to, I'm of course I connected my Terraform with my with my repository. And sorry, I just forgot one thing. It is also important to have this naming convention. You need to have firstly, it's also, of course it says you need to say Terraform provider and also the name of the module that you want to provide. For instance, Terraform AWS and my production ready Lambda or whatever you want to have. But please bear in mind this portion. And then I can go right ahead and click on publish module, and it's going to create it for me. And of course here you can see this is pretty much how I can configure my application and consume it. So I think it would make sense to avoid this video from being too long, to do that in the next part. All right, thanks. Cheers.